In this presentation, we'll review how to apply for scholarships through the Mount Hood Community College Foundation. The MHCC Foundation awards over 150 different scholarships every year, each with different criteria, different requirements, and different award amounts. The great thing about our scholarship process is that you don't need to apply individually for each and every scholarship. All you need to do is complete one online application, and the scholarship portal will automatically match and submit your application to all the scholarships you qualify for. Please note that MHCC scholarships can only be used at MHCC. The priority application period is open every year from January through March, and results are announced in May. All applicants will receive an email notifying them whether or not they've won a scholarship. Scholarships awarded during the priority application period will begin in fall term. Students who are new to MHCC must first apply for admissions before completing a scholarship application. The admissions application can be found online at mhcc.edu/admissions. This application is free and does not commit you to attending MHCC, but you'll need to complete this step to receive your My MHCC student portal login, which you'll use to access the scholarship portal. Once you're ready to start your scholarship application, you'll go to mhcc.edu/scholarships and follow the link that says Apply Now. This will take you to our scholarship portal, and you'll see a sign-in button in the upper right-hand corner. Sign into the scholarship portal using the same login credentials you used to access the My MHCC student portal. The first time you sign in, you'll be taken straight to the general application. This is the one application that you'll need to complete to be considered for all available scholarships. The first component of the application is references. You'll need to find 2 references who know you in a professional or academic setting. Be sure to choose references who can provide an objective recommendation. Teachers, coaches or advisors from your extracurricular activities, or supervisors from work are all good choices. Don't use a family member, spouse, or significant other as a reference. These individuals are not seen as being objective, and you could lose points on your application. Be sure to reach out to your references before you add them to your scholarship application to ask their permission. Once you've chosen your references, click on Add a New Reference to add their name and email address to the scholarship application. Once you save your application, the scholarship portal will send an automated email to your reference with instructions to complete your recommendation. If you need to change your reference for any reason, simply return to the application, click on Add a New Reference, enter their name and email address, and then make sure that your new reference is selected from the drop-down menu. Be sure to give your references plenty of time to respond. Remember, once you save your references into your application, the system's going to send that reference request email to them. I recommend that you do that step first, and then return to your application and spend some more time on it if needed. If your references ask what they can expect, you can let them know that they'll have a short form to fill out that includes a brief statement of support, about a paragraph long. If your references need any help accessing the scholarship portal, they can contact me directly and I can help them troubleshoot. It's your responsibility to make sure that your references respond by the deadline. If they don't, you'll lose points on your application. Use the References tab in the scholarship portal to check the status of your references. When you click on the Reference tab, you'll see a list of all the reference requests that have been sent and whether or not they've been submitted. If it still says requested, that means that your reference has not yet responded, and you'll want to follow up. There's a button that will allow you to resend the request email, but I recommend that you follow up with your reference however you normally communicate with them. In the next portion of the application, you'll be asked a series of questions that will be used to match you to the scholarships for which you qualify. If you're new to MHCC, you'll need to upload an unofficial transcript from the last school you attended, whether that's high school or another college. This will be used to evaluate your GPA. If you're a GED graduate and you don't yet have an MHCC GPA, and you don't have a transcript from the last school you attended, you can upload your GED transcript instead. It's very important that all applicants who don't yet have an MHCC GPA include a transcript. Without your GPA, you'll be automatically disqualified from many of our scholarships. You'll be asked how many credits you plan to enroll in each term. Try to answer these questions as accurately as possible. They'll be used to match you to the scholarships that will work best for your academic plans. Many of our scholarships have a minimum credit requirement, which means that you'll need to enroll in a certain number of credits each term in order to keep your scholarship. About 50% of MHCC scholarships are based on financial need. In order to qualify for these scholarships, you'll need to upload your FAFSA student aid report or a copy of your completed ORSA application. If you don't include your FAFSA or ORSA information, you'll still be considered for the other 50% of scholarships, the ones not based on financial need. But I highly recommend you include this information if you can, because it may increase your chances of winning a scholarship. Some of our scholarships are for a very specific type of student, and this question is designed to match you to any of those specific scholarships you may qualify for. Don't be discouraged if none of these apply to you. The vast majority of our scholarships are looking at much broader criteria. The most important component of your scholarship application are the essays. There are 4 essay questions, each with a 200-word limit, which is about 1 to 2 paragraphs. We use the same essay questions as the OSAC scholarship application, so I encourage you to save your essays and reuse them to apply for OSAC scholarships. If you're not familiar with OSAC, it's a statewide scholarship program that awards over $10 million in scholarships to Oregon students each year. This includes scholarships that can be used at MHCC as well as other institutions. To learn more and apply, go to oregonstudentaid.gov. Your essays will make up the majority of your application score, so make sure you invest time in writing thoughtful responses. I recommend having at least 2 people proofread your essays, and MHCC's Avid Writing Center is a great resource for essay help. You can learn more about how to access the Avid Center's services at mhcc.edu/avid. I don't recommend working on your essays directly in the scholarship application. The application does not auto-save, and there is no way to recover your work if there's an error. Write your essays in a Word document, Google Doc, or whatever word processing software you're comfortable with, then copy and paste them into the application once you're ready. Over the next few slides, we'll take a look at each of the 4 essay questions. You can also download examples of winning essays from past scholarship recipients at mhcc.edu/scholarships. The first question asks, what are your specific educational plans and career goals and why? What inspires you to achieve them? This is really your opportunity to share your story about why it is that you're going to school. Think back to when you chose to go down this career path. Was there a specific experience in your life or maybe a person who inspired you? You want to make sure that you're clear about your goal and your plan for how to get there. This might involve doing some career research. A few other things to consider are the steps that you've taken towards your goal already, and anything specific that keeps you motivated to achieve this goal. The second question asks, what have you done for your family or community that you care about the most and why? The focus of this question is volunteer service. So you can talk about volunteer experience with a nonprofit, church, or community organization, or you can talk about something significant that you've done to help your family. If you have a lot of volunteer experience at different organizations, I recommend choosing one activity or a series of related activities to write about, rather than listing off everywhere you've ever volunteered. You don't want your essay to read like a resume of your volunteer activities. Make sure that you talk about why the service was meaningful to you. What did you learn from this experience? What impact did this have on the community or the people that you were serving? This activity can be something that you've done in the past. It doesn't need to be a volunteer opportunity that you're actively involved in. And if you have any volunteer experience that's related to your chosen career path, that's a great opportunity to reinforce the narrative that you started in your first essay question. The third question asks, describe a personal accomplishment and the strengths and skills you use to achieve it. Think of an accomplishment that you're proud of, and make sure that it's something that highlights your strengths and skills. This is a difficult question for a lot of applicants. Many of us have a hard time recognizing our own strengths and skills, and we may feel uncomfortable bragging about our accomplishments. If you have a hard time getting started, try asking a close friend or family member how they would answer this question for you. If the accomplishment that comes to mind is overcoming a difficult experience, you might consider saving that for question number 4, and you'll see why when we get to that slide. The final question asks, describe a significant change or experience that has occurred in your life. How did you respond and what did you learn about yourself? There are a number of different topics you can choose to write about for this essay. I've seen essays about adjusting after a long distance move or a big change in a person's family, like a divorce or the birth of their first child, or overcoming a hardship like an illness or an injury or even the death of a loved one. Whatever you choose to write about, make sure that you're choosing something that allows you to reflect on how you grew from this experience. You want to include enough details of the situation so that we can understand what happened, but your real focus should be on what you learned. And be very careful to avoid portraying yourself as a victim. That's really not the tone that you want to set for this essay. Think about how you overcame this experience and how you are a better person because of it. Once you're finished with your essays, your application is nearly complete. Your last step is to add your digital signature and today's date to the bottom of the application. Even after you hit submit on your application, you can still go back and make changes up until the date of the deadline. So don't be afraid to hit submit. After you've completed your general application, the system will automatically match and submit your application for the scholarships you qualify for. You do not need to go through and apply to each individual scholarship. The only exception to this are recommended opportunities, which require an additional step, and I'll tell you more about that on the next slide. Make sure your references respond by the deadline, and make sure you have access to your Saints email. That's where we'll be sending the results once they're ready. A handful of scholarships require an additional step after the general application is complete. These will show up under recommended opportunities. Make sure you click through to each scholarship and read the requirements before you apply. You may be recommended some opportunities that you don't actually qualify for. The majority of our scholarships do not require an additional step. If you see complete general application to apply next to the name of the scholarship, that means all you have to do is complete that general application, and you'll be automatically matched to that scholarship if you qualify. Here's a list of some resources to be aware of as you fill out your scholarship application. If you have any questions about MHCC scholarships, please feel free to contact me, Nataly Paoli, via phone or email. Thank you for watching, and best of luck on your application.